Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, I'm Morph, coming to you with another video. It's been a minute. I'm sorry. I know I have not done videos in a minute and posted. I apologize. However, I have been working on some material that I am going to be posting. So, you're going to have to start chiming back in. But today, real quick, as you can see by the title of the video, I want to come on here real quick to jump in about this whole situation with Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. We've been talking about this all day. And so that's why I had to just go ahead and jump in. I wasn't even going to say anything. I was going to let it ride. But, however, because of the opinions that I'm beginning to see in regards to even with like the news media and their shows coming and talking about it, giving their opinion, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to not agree with some of the things that I'm hearing. So I wanted to put my 2 cents on. Y'all can let me know what you think. So we already pretty much know about, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and recap real quick, just in case. Obviously, them at the Oscars, Chris Rock makes a statement, jokes, hee hee ha ha, roasted Jada for a quick sec about her short hair, commenting that she, referencing that she resembles or trying to, something about G.I. Jane, and she gets offended. Will Smith defends her by essentially walking up onto the stage boldly and smacks Chris Rock. If you haven't heard, but you probably have, but just in case. So then after that, he does still win the Oscar award that I, in my opinion, feel like he deserves and worked so hard for. Come on, it's Will Smith. Now, I'm not saying that to say that what he did was, you know, that he wasn't wrong from doing what he did. Obviously, we know that. Don't put your hands on people. But I do have a couple of things that I want to mention, in my opinion, and shed a little bit of light on, if you may have not thought about this aspect already. Number one, I saw this particular broadcast from a news situation where they start to get to the point where now we're talking about, should his Oscar be taken away, since obviously they still allow him to accept and receive the Oscar award on national television? Is the organization going to do anything about it now? So on and so forth. Here's my thing. I'm not again saying I'm encouraging anything that he did or stand by that. However, this is not the worst thing that we have ever seen. And I feel like if we're going to get to the point where we're, having the cancel culture start to talk about what's going on, we want to possibly cancel Will Smith. Do we want to take his Oscar away from him now? Or is the Oscar organization association going to do anything about it now that they allow that to ride through during the live broadcasting? And I'm guessing, maybe they let it ride through just because it was national television. People were saying, obviously, they didn't think at first that it was real. Maybe it was supposed to be scripted in there. Long story short. But now, obviously, it's all coming out. Clearly, it looks like he wasn't playing, y'all. So now there's a lot of talk about it. So with them just letting it ride out, my thing is, I just don't feel like they should just try to take his Oscar away. Yes, because it is Will Smith, and not just because it's Will Smith, but all of the work that he's done, I don't think that should be the resolution. Here's why, and you can knock me if you don't agree with me, whatever, I do not care. This is my channel, you can get off of it. When you really sit there and think about all the things that have been done, media, television, social, in our environments, everyday lives, politics even, legal system, there are too many things that have gone without any reprimanding, however you say the dang on word, so much crap that we see on the TV, and it's just unreal. It's ridiculous. Some people already mentioned, well, that particular news broadcast that I saw the rebroadcast on YouTube, she had mentioned herself, I'm embarrassed to be even mentioning this while we have a war in Ukraine going on right now. right? So thousands of people over there losing their lives. We're sitting along, allowing this to happen. They're begging for help. And it's funny because they're trying to be a part of NATO. It's kind of essentially how the whole situation started. Now NATO's like, okay, well, they're standing back, clearly just letting people, whatever. Whole big long situation. I'm just trying to give the summary of a couple of things. But the long story short is we're letting thousands of people die. And we want to talk about somebody getting slapped. Weigh the odds. Weigh the odds. Right? And are we going to do something about that? It's funny to me that we're talking about this when that's going on. Can there be something else done about thousands and thousands of people losing their lives? And that was what she mentioned, right? So, in my opinion, I'm not necessarily even just speaking about the war. I ain't come on here for that. But what I am saying is, like I said, politics, they lie all the time. We know that. Look at the dang old gas prices right now. I mean, that's affecting this whole freaking country right now. Just to name a couple of things going on. There are a million things that could be focused on to have some type of reprimandment going on, or something that should be receiving some consequences to correct a lot of issues. The legal system has dang near failed us over and over again. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing people being victimized because of the legal system not doing what we need to do about it. And the legal system, actually, in my opinion, because of the laws that have been set in place, and you got to follow these things word by word, verbatim, instead of us sitting here using our common sense when you can clearly see what's going on, or people needing to get involved with situations, but they refuse to step up and actually take action in things that need to be done when they can clearly see with common sense the issues in front of them. But, oh, I got to save my job, so let me not do that. Let me not speak about that. But that's why laws were supposed to be put in place, right? I've seen too many situations where they have gone overlooked because somebody didn't want to step up and afraid to say something or lose their job or this and that, when they would actually be heroes in a lot of these particular situations that I'm just thinking of just off the bat, like not even delving into too many issues. There's just endless things that have gone on, and we ignore those, but yet we want to talk about them because they're celebrities. Ain't the biggest issue going on right now. World's out here going crazy, and we want to sit here and focus on stuff like this. That's all I'm saying. So I do not feel like his award should be taken away because, yes, it is Will Smith, because he's worked so hard. But the reason behind my thinking is because there are just way too many freaking things that have gone on in this freaking entire country that we just brush under the rug. Oh, that we're not really sure exactly what happened, or by those specific legal definition, this is not what we can use to determine that this thing or that thing should receive any punishment. If we're going to play that game on other things, well, let's continue to play that game on this thing, because to be honest, obviously that's a sensitive subject for them. Jada looks like she was very much offended. Obviously, she posted, as you already probably know by now, she's suffering with alopecia, which is considered an autoimmune disease that is a struggle for women. That's a sensitive subject. I mean, there's men who even have issues with hair loss, and it's a sensitive subject for them, let alone for you to be a woman where the Bible says her hair is her glory, crowning glory. So we don't know what they're really dealing with and what's been going on with them. I'm sure there's been a lot of pressure. We got the new Bel Air show that's going on that obviously he's not on the forefront of acting, but he's definitely a part of. And we don't know people's lives. We do not know their lives. So, no, it definitely wasn't right what he did. But, and, okay, let me talk about this aspect before I forget. So, I heard some speculation that Chris Rock wasn't even the person who wrote the jokes. Here's the funny part. If that is true, because I haven't really researched and looked into that part of it to know whether that's fact or not. And quite frankly, I do not really care. However, because it's the Oscars, we know that a lot of times that could be the case where they're just reading the impromptu and saying whatever is going through the prompts. And if that is the case, that is a whole nother interesting part of it. Because if that is the case, the joke was written from him, for him. Number one, who is the person that wrote the joke? Specifically. Number two, obviously it's going to be someone who's in association with the Oscars. So in that case, who's really wrong? Is it obviously for him, you know, putting his hands, definitely, but who wrote the joke? Who didn't take the time to acknowledge the fact that she had been suffering from this autoimmune disease and realize that that was going to be an issue for that particular type of subject, that was going to be sensitive, right? So is it actually the writers for the association? Is it the Oscars' fault? The whole organization? Is that why they allowed the award to go on? I mean, what could they really do? If they're the ones that wrote that joke, Chris Rock is up there pretty much just doing what his job. So this situation is like bananas to me. And then even beyond that, obviously they're real people, which this is another part that people have been talking about. Like number three, just because these people are on TV, people tend to believe that they're not human. TV illuminates people and makes them so glorious to where they're like idols, clearly, gods on TV. We're all human. And what's one thing that has been a hot topic for not only people in the last couple of years, but African-American people, activists talking about, activists talking about mental health issues alone. So we don't know what they're dealing with, how deep that goes with her to be struggling with that particular thing, let alone for her to be on a platform in front of people, having to uphold these high-level standards. I feel like something in my mouth. High-level standards of beauty. That adds so much more pressure to always have to feel like you are beautiful. You are the prototype of what America is saying that should be considered beautiful. When you wrap all of that stuff up together, that's ridiculous for people to have so much pressure on you, and you are a human, and how this whole, let me make sure I get my words right. The whole industry has a hand in dealing with this being a catastrophe just waiting to happen. This whole thing waiting to explode. You already see it with little kids who've grown up in the industry. When they get older, they got so much pressure on them that a lot of them are dang near going crazy, if not having all kind of other things happening. So for that kind of pressure for kids, that doesn't mean that it's just like all good because you're an adult now. You're still having the same industry, all this weight onto human beings, full of pressure, and we're expecting them to be perfect. So no, I do not believe that anything else should be done in regards to what happened as far as him putting his hands on him, whether we're going to try to take his Oscar away or not. He deserved that thing. He worked hard for that. He didn't put his whole life in front of the cameras. They put their whole lives, for the most part, in front of the cameras. And you have to be super vulnerable to be able to do as much as they do, to be all in the forefront all the dang on time. And he had the documentary not too long ago. And they were just talking about intimate moments with their lives. And you get to see more things going on with him and Jada and Willow and Jaden, like all of them, and their Jada's mom. Sorry, y'all, my camera died. But so if it was a situation where the Oscars were the ones who wrote that, who's to say that that wasn't orchestrated by them to get a rise to see what was going to actually happen between Will and Chris Rock? I'm just saying, we definitely know there's been things speculated before, not particularly specifically the Oscars who has orchestrated things, but y'all know their spirit of instigating, right? And it's not the first time that something has been orchestrated. I'm just saying, I would definitely hope not, but regardless of the end result, if it is true that the person wrote this for Chris Rock, that's messed up, because now we got these men doing this. And now there's all these What now? What next? It's terrible. Just to weigh the options on it. If it's all these other things going on right now and this happened, it's just add that into all the other BS and crap that's going on. We still got people out here who have lost their lives, black men, police brutality, so many freaking things going on. I could go on and on and on. I've been looking into Native American history right now. Got that kind of background. Most African Americans do. My 40 acres and a mule. Where is that at? I mean, it's just so many things going on right now that gets brushed to the side. And let's just pretend that this is the most important thing right now. I ain't playing that game. If y'all want to come correct on this particular issue, I'm just going to need y'all to come correct on every other issue and go back and give people the justice that they deserve in every other aspect of life. Young, old, children. There's been too many victims of this freaking society, and I am just sick of it. Yeah, like Chris Rock, the person who several years ago did the Good Hair documentary out of the, I'm assuming, the kindness of his heart to shed light on black women and hair and all the aspects and the struggles, the good, the bad, and the ugly, talking about the creamy crack and everything else and where extensions and artificial hair come from. Man, for that to be the person now, years later, who would make a comment like that without even thinking, it's just like, it does kind of make sense that maybe somebody wrote this for him and he just went with it because he is a comedian, obviously, that we know. So that just adds another light to it. Like, it makes you think, like, if it was something that he just wrote, then dang, he did good hair years ago. So that doesn't even seem like something that should have come from him. However, again, we are all human. So still, whether he did write it or did not write it, this whole situation, to me, is just, we need to just, go ahead, let him have his Oscar. Maybe he can go and apologize and they can talk that out later. Obviously, the other men talked to Will Smith later and they all kind of had him calm down or whatever was going on. Give him a few words of whatever he needed to hear, few words of wisdom. But this is kind of just for the birds, for me, for real. We have other things that we need to tend to. Thank y'all beautiful for watching. Love y'all. Please click, comment, subscribe, like. Hope y'all got to the end of the video. I don't even care if y'all didn't, because this situation is ridiculous. But for the ones who stay, love y'all beautiful. Bye.